Got it.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
So I'm here with the lovely Wendy, who is a very dear friend of mine who we've known each other for quite a while now.
Long time.
Yeah.
Long
And,
time.
Wendy is an amazing body worker. She's one of those people that whenever I am in a class, an access consciousness class, or when I've had things go on with my body, like when I broke my back, Wendy was one of the first people that came to mind as somebody who could contribute to my body and do body work and just, have some awareness with all of that. So I thought it would be fun, Wendy and I thought it would be fun to have this chat about, the access consciousness, body work and body processes, since there's so much that's available. So Wendy, how has it been for you facilitating the body classes and doing these body processes for, I want to say, for so many years? Not that that really makes such a difference, but I know you've worked with so many different people around the world as well as in Australia. What's that been like for you?
It's been amazing. It's actually really been amazing, and it's such a it's ongoing, and it's a constant. I'm constantly receiving more information from every person. Yeah, every person that I work on, and what a gift! Like, such a beautiful gift. With our, our body, and we're just tapping into it. But I am ever so grateful for the many times through classes, and just when there's that pull to go and do a body process here, or whether it's here or Australia, or now we can't travel. But no, absolutely. And it makes me very sort of like humble, because there's so much more to discover, and the less I have a point of view about it, the greater I can receive.
I love that. And that is such a different point of view and such a different way of doing body work. Because I mean, the access consciousness body work is so different than anything that I had tried beforehand. Like I tried Reiki, and I loved it. It's not to say anything about that, but I tried a lot of different modalities and things that were all about kind of like putting an energy on you or fixing you, or the practitioner or facilitator being the one that has to do this thing to you. Can you talk a bit about how the access hands-on body processes are and what makes them different to that?
Well, I really love it, because it's just it's such a simplicity, in the sense we've already got these incredible processes where we can put our hand positions, and we also just are that energy of like, okay, what are the infinite possibilities here for this person to receive? And then it's the magic of like really and truly just allowing your hands to be wherever they require to be with whatever process it is. And then just, it's up to that body that you're working on, to what it wants to actually be able to receive or not receive. And it doesn't matter, because it's creating something. And that's, and that's, and nowhere is it that we have to fix anything or function from a need, or we've got to get it right. It's none of that. And it's a beautiful energy,
which is so different as well, because it's really, like, for me, when I receive body processes, it's so much more inclusive of me and my body, which seems like a strange thing to say, but for me, I hadn't really got that until I had received a body process. Because you always think, well, I'm getting a massage, I'm receiving it. I am getting this treatment done, I'm receiving it. But actually, I love what you just said of it's up to the body and it's up to the person to receive it. And that's incredibly empowering, because you're not just lying there waiting for something to be done to you. It's like this back and forth contribution, which is really empowering. Like how, like can you talk a little bit to that and about that kind of empowering thing? Because I think it's so different, but there's just really nothing quite like it in the world apart from this, really.
And that's true. And the other thing too is that which I think is just so wonderful too, because it's when you're being with that person, it's not just that person as well. There's also, the more that you can be, you're including whatever you can receive as well. But what it comes is how much it shows up is how much the point of view, how much the person's point of view creates their reality with their body.
Yeah.
And so the more, and that's where I find it's so cool to just be in allowance, like not have, just allow, because a lot of bodies have just automatically got those walls up to what it is that they think their body should be doing. And so the more we can be, or you as a person being with that person, the more you can just be so much more space and allow to be that like catalyst in a way to get in there amongst the molecules and allow something else to show up, whatever that could be. It doesn't mean sometimes that it's all ease, joy and glory either when the person gets off the bed. It's like being willing to have no judgment on yourself.
It's so true. And I'm so grateful, the way that you're talking about it really is like showing the energy of it, because so often I think, when we have stuff going on with our bodies, it's so easy to just go into the wrongness, like there must be something wrong with us. But when you have somebody who's working on you and running the body process, and like you said, like really getting to that energetic change and being willing for it to look any which way, but not from the point of view of I've got to fix you, that's such a different nurturing space to be in. It is so cool. And it's so, I'm just remembering this conversation I had with someone yesterday or the day before, and she was asking me about my next workshop that was coming up. And I was just trying to keep it really simple, we have these beautiful processes that we show people how to do, and then, they can then go and just allow themselves to be with that body and blah, blah. And she was just like, oh, it's too much. It's over my head. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, and her statement, which was so funny, she's like, I'm really not happy with my body. Yeah. She said, I am far too fat and I'm not happy with it. And it was just a prime example, I suppose, in a way that, how much our point of view or our fixed point of view, and because our body doesn't have a point of view, but if we're like, well, I'm just too fat, it's like, okay, well, we'll best be too fat. I mean, it's so funny and so insane in a way, because we can totally change that. It's true. And I love, like, one of the things that I have to say that I love about you, Wendy, and this is true for all of the access consciousness body of work, is that there's just no judgment of it. Usually if you say to somebody, I'm too fat, they'll be like, well, go on this diet, well, do something to change it, or no, you're not, you're good, but there's always like this sticking point, like they're trying to actually either make you feel good or avoid you feeling bad. But with you, with that space of absolutely no judgment, there's a relaxation that occurs that also makes you question what it is that you're choosing. Like, oh, do I want to continue choosing this? Or why do I have that judgment of myself? So can you talk a little bit more about how, like, judgment plays a role in everything that we've got going on in our bodies.
Yeah, because it's so significant, you know, like when we're working with the bodies, there's just so much ease in our world, and there's so much space, and there's no definition, in a sense. So, and I lost my train of thought in a bit, but whereas judgment has all of those things. Like, it has the definition, it has the significance, it's seen as real, and that's what the conversation's about, because there's a solidity in it. And yet when you're being a space, when you're having no point of view and there's no definition, you know, you're just standing there like a whatever, you know, or being there, and so it's it's like judgment can't grab you.
Well,
it can only just pass through.
Exactly. It can't grab you, it can only pass through. And that's the interesting thing too, because when you said, you know, being the space, we've all heard the thing of like, hold space, or like, you know, whatever. And I remember like, you know, even when sometimes it's like, okay, I've got to be happy now, right? I'm gonna like I'll be happy, okay, then just brace myself, I'll just like hold the happiness, and or like I'm gonna not judge my body, or I'm gonna heal this, like I'm gonna heal this bad back, or what, and you just kind of try and hold it. But that's actually nothing to do with spaces. It's what you just said was beautifully describing it. It's when you've got no judgment, then you just become that space. It's not about finding the space, then holding on to it, and then you'll have no judgment and everything is fixed. It's the other way around. So what a gift, actually, because that seems a lot easier than what most of us try and do with our bodies.
Yeah, but that's really good. That's a great way of explaining it. It's just really true, and I have done that too over the time. But it is I just love that energy of like, and that's been my ask is, ooze through life. Let's just ooze through life, and then, you know, we might have all the different things that come, but, you know, we've got the next 10 seconds, and, you know, and just get that all those thoughts, feelings, and emotions. What if none of them were ours? And the other thing, the other day, I was so aware of too, like, our bodies are so aware. And then when you're around someone who maybe is not choosing that, like whatever they're choosing, but you become aware of their body, and I was like, wow, I was aware of this other person's body, and I saw just how quickly we can take that on thinking it's ours.
Yeah.
You know, and just because we haven't, because if we're being defined and very, you know, and we're not undefined, so how much connection is there going on from body to body?
Exactly. And that's a whole different level.
Whereas we're undefined, as I say again, it can just wash past, and you know, what can I choose now?
I love that. So, and I love that you're saying again, you know, that those things can kind of just wash past, because again, it's not us trying to force our bodies into anything or even force them out of pain or any of that stuff, but it's really allowing that to just melt away. So what would, you know, if you could give people one tool or one question that you ask to invite that melting away of things that aren't working, or perhaps aches or whatever, like what would be one of the key tools that people could start to use?
Well, I really love that one of like, you know, what else is truly possible here that I haven't considered? Well, it's just a very, you know, it covers a big area in a sense, but it's sort of like, what else is truly possible here? And you can add in what else is truly possible here with my body that I haven't considered before.
Right.
You know, have that in, because most people, not all, but a lot of people walk around, they're not even aware of their body, and it's only when they become and have pain or an intensity,
Yeah.
which is an an awareness, which we would call an awareness, but it's actually I think most people call it a pain. Then it's like, well, I need to do something here now. But how many, how much are we walking, when we're just walking around and being who we be, it's not ever given any joy, I suppose you could say, or acknowledgement, or yeah, like I love how my body is such a creation. It's such a creator, and it takes me to places, without having to think about it. Yeah. And I'm like, I love that.
That's so cool. Yeah. And what would it take for us to allow our bodies to lead more regarding our bodies and when it comes to stuff like that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So and I guess that's what the body classes and the body processes invite us to, really.
Yeah. To be that to know that that you are that source, and there's that beautiful communion between you, your being, and your body. I love that. Like when I'm in town or something and I cross the street, and then I'm like, and then all of a sudden I'm going right, and I'm like, oh, and then all of a sudden I'm in a shop, and then I meet somebody, and then I might buy something, or I might, but it's like no thought, and and it's like, oh, okay, body, where are we going next? Yeah. So I love it.
That's
how
so
much more
cool.
can we have? Yeah.
Exactly. So you facilitate a lot of these classes, Wendy, in Australia for the time being.
Yes, in the time being.
Exactly. So please check out everything that Wendy has coming up. We'll pop a link below so you can check her out. And please share this video if you've liked it. Share it with your friends. What else can we create for us to all have a lot more ease with our bodies, especially during these times? So thank you so much, Wendy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Such a joy. It's always so much fun.
Thank you. Thank you. And what else is possible for all of our bodies?
What else? Yes, for all of our bodies in the next 5 to 10 years. What is truly possible? Yeah. Or next 100 years. Who knows?
Exactly. Why not? Cool. Thank you so much.
Cool. Bye.